ओके सर। हाँ, सभी सम्माननीय अतिथि से मेरा निवेदन है, कार्यक्रम का शुरुआत हम राष्ट्रगान से करेंगे। तो कृपया सब अपने जगह पर, सम्माननीय अतिथि से मेरा निवेदन है, अपने जगह पर खड़ा हो जाइए राष्ट्रगान के लिए। एक साथ ऊंची आवाज में राष्ट्रगान शुरू कर।
गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल वंग, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग, तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय जय
माता की, भारत माता की।
स्वागतम स्वागतम सुस्वागतम। यत्र नारायस्तु पूज्यते रमते तंत्र देवता, यतात्रस्तु न पूज्यते सर्वस्त्र फलाक्रिया, which means where women are honored, divinity blossom there, and wherever women are dishonored, all actions, no matter how noble it may be, remains unfruitful. Today, we have gathered here at virtual platform for celebrating International Women's Day. Myself, Advocate Nikisha Pathan, wishing you all a very happy International Day on behalf of Shantaram Potdukhe College of Law, Chandrapur. President of today's function, Honorable Srimati Sudhatai Shantaramji Potdukhe, President of Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal, Chandrapur. Chief guest and keynote speaker, respected Dr. Chetana Sonkamble, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad. Respected Dr. Archana Gadekar, Associate Professor in Law, the Maharaja, Sayajirao University, Baroda. Dr. Anjali Hastak, Principal of Shantaram Potdukhe College of Law, Chandrapur, and all the teaching faculty and students. I welcome you all in the national level webinar on the occasion of 8th March, that is International Women's Day. International Women's Day is celebrated on the 8th of March every year. It's a day that people around the world dedicate to the women in their lives. Women's Day celebrates the importance and significance of women in every person's life. It's a day where women are recognized and celebrated in their fields. These women have a fierce and rebirth spirit, which makes them excel in their respective areas. They deserve all the love and the support that the world gives them in on this day. International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating the gender parity. This year, the theme of International Women's Day is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Today, despite women's significant contribution to economic and social development, they are disproportionately impacted by poverty, while their efforts are undermined due to cultural norms and systematic barriers. It limits their full participation in leadership and key decision-making process, including decisions that affected them primarily. Unfortunately, the emergence of COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the poor socio-economic status of women and threatened the achievements of the Sustainable Development Goal, that is, achieving gender equality and women empowerment. With the theme, that is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, is aiming and celebrating the contribution of women and girls around the world who are in charge on climate change adaptation, mitigation, and response to build a more sustainable future for all. Our focus this year is on highlighting the importance of challenging biases and misconceptions to create a more inclusive and gender equal world. Principal Ma'am, respected Dr. Anjali Hastak, she is the real symbol of a vibrant and goal-oriented personality. She has completed Master of Law and the Personal Law from Mumbai University and Nagpur University for her thesis named Women's Right to Property in Hindu. Elected Viva for PhD student and external examiner in various universities of India, including Symbiosis International Pune University. She has published a book titled Empowerment of Women Through Property Rights in Hindu Law, with financial assistance from University Grant Commission, New Delhi. She has recently chaired a session at International Multidisciplinary Law Conference, Coherence at Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad. She has also participated in International Conference on Quality Assurance in Higher Education, Expectation and Achievement at Bangalore, organized by NAC and Asia Pacific Quality Networking. Recently, she was invited to chair the Summer Global Women's Leadership Symposium at University of Riverside, California, USA, where she also presented a research paper on the theme. Dr. Anjali Hastak has worked extensively to spread legal literacy for cause of women in Mofussil area through legal aid camps organized by Law College. To carry out the mission of adult legal literacy, she has translated law articles in easy to understand language and worked as editor of law books published by the college. Ma'am, really you are a guiding star for all of us. I request you, ma'am, to give a welcome address. Dr. Anjali.
Thank you, Nikisha. Thank you very much. Yeah. Respected Srimati Sudhatai Shantaramji Potdukhe, President of our Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal Chandrapur. Today is our keynote speaker, Dr. Chetana Sonkamble, who is Dean of Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad. Our invited speaker, Dr. Archana Gadekar, who is Associate Professor in Law in Maharaja University, Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. All the faculty members of our college and all students of this college and also invited guests of this program. Today we are all assembled online on this platform to celebrate International Women's Day. Ours is the college, which is a unique one, I can say, where maximum staff members are women, and we are celebrating this particular day with the blessings and under the guidance of our beloved and respected President, Srimati Sudhatai Potdukhe, who is very much here with us. My dear friends, as we all
शुभेच्छा प्रदान करते, या वेबिनारला लाभलेल्या प्रमुख अतिथी डॉक्टर चैतना सोनकांबळे व प्रमुख वक्त्या डॉक्टर अर्चना गाडेकर यांचे हार्दिक स्वागत करते व अभिनंदन करते.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm glad to tell you that today we are blessed with the presence of respected Dr. Chetana Sonkamble, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Maratha University, Aurangabad, as chief guest and keynote speaker. I request the student of BLLB 6M, Ms. Isha Taneja, to introduce our guest.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Isha.
Thank you so much, Nikisha. A very good morning to honorable dignitaries and all the people present here. It's my tremendous honor to introduce our guest of honor for today's International Women's Day program. Star shines at night, but some stars shine at bright daylight. It's our pleasure to welcome one such star. So we are indeed privileged to have Honorable Dr. Sonkamble Chetana as our chief guest, who is a dean of the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad. She has completed her post-graduation in botany and English. Ma'am has dedicated her 24 years for providing education to many students and has ensured that the student get all the support that would help them grow into a better people. Other than this, ma'am has also made a mark in the field of research projects such as preparation of content integrated tool for teacher educators and e-learning based training program for professional development of teacher educator in backward region of Marathwada region. Besides, she has published a number of books. She is widely read author of the current era. Moreover, she is profoundly loved and respected by her leaders, especially by youth. She has influenced the youth of India through various articles like Empowerment of Teacher Education, Role of Constitutional Values for Empowering Attitude of Students Teachers at B.Ed level, Women Entrepreneurship in India, Problems and Issues, and many more. She has great contribution in the subjects like guiding research scholars in the concerned research areas. She has undertaken and successfully completed the project sanctioned by UGC and ICSSR. She has also organized international meet for discussion on research collaboration and MOU under Erasmus Mundus Project Spain. And along with all this, she has always contributed herself in many such inspiring organizations and motivated many lives. Ma'am, you have been motivated us all enough for being an example in the light of darkness. We should be delighted with your expertise and knowledge in every way possible. And we are proud and happy to know that ma'am has been awarded with the Best Teacher Award by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Kasturba Mahila Puraskar, Shiksha Ratna Puraskar, Indira Gandhi Shiromani Award, IFFS, New Delhi, V.V. Yardi Puraskar, Best Paper Award at National Conference, Best Poster Award at NACC Conference, Samaj Ratna Puraskar. Now, I request the Honorable Chief Guest to address the gathering and cast the light of your knowledge about us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for introducing me in a very lucid manner. Your proficiency over your language also reflects from your personality. So thank you so much. Margavi, isn't it? Your name is Margavi?
Isha Taneja, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much for introducing me. Today we are here for an online one-day national seminar on the theme based on gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow. It is being organized by Shantaram Potdukhe College of Law, Chandrapur, in collaboration with IQAC. We are having with us on this online platform Srimati Sudhatai Potdukhe, President of SS Mandal, Chandrapur. We are also having with us on this platform organizer Dr. Anjali Hastak, ma'am, Principal and Convener of Women's Cell, Mrunal Bhasarkar, Incharge of Women's Cell, and Dr. Suvarna Mangrulkar, Coordinator of Women's Cell, and the invitee of today's National Conference invited speaker, Dr. Archana Gadekar, who has straightway joined from Sayajirao University from Baroda. So, as today we are celebrating International Women's Day, I would like to wish all of you on this platform who are joined here in the form of faculties, research students, scholars, and students of law, a very happy International Women's Day to all of you. The topic which has been shouldered to me or given the responsibility to speak upon, that I'm going to focus on women's liberation through gender equality. In that concern, I would like to at the starting only, I would like to focus that as we go towards the gender equality, recognizing the contribution of women and girls around the world who are leading the charge on climate change adaptations, mitigation, and response to build a more sustainable future for all. So, advancing gender equality in the context of the climate crisis and disaster risk education, or like risk reduction, we can say, is one of the greatest global challenges for 21st century, as we are belonging to 21st century, or we are living in the era of 21st century. The issues of climate change and sustainability have had and will continue to have severe and lasting impacts on our environment, economic and social development also. Those who are amongst the most vulnerable and marginalized experience the deepest impact of women, and which is being increasingly being recognized as more vulnerable to climate change impacts than men, as they constitute the majority of the world's poor and to education, in that women's are, or like girls are having education, and at least primary education, that is being made compelled. And inheritance right means whatever the property she is having with her father, she is also having that sort of right with the right of her brother. So this is being mentioned, and this was regarded, or this was focused or emphasized by Dr. Ambedkar. And like all the rights which are being given, he regarded education as the only tool for emancipation of women, the right of her. And on 20th July 1942, while addressing the second All India Depressed Class Women's Conference, he said the following sentence. I would like to mention over here that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the only person who has given the resign for not accepting the Hindu Code Bill, because nowadays we see that many of the political leaders are there who are striving for the rights of women, or like giving the political statements also, who can resign for the rights of the women. So he has given a statement over here at All India Depressed Classes Women Conference. He said that I shall tell you a few things which I think you should bear in mind. Learn to be clean, keep free from all vices, give education to your children, instill ambition, or instill ambition in them, inculcate in their minds, and they are destined to be a great. Remove from there an inferiority complex. So that inferiority complex should be removed from the next generation, and this is very important. And like I would like to mention over here that Dr. Ambedkar's approach towards women and was completely different from other social reformers, that is Mahatma Gandhi, Jyotiba Phule, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, who tried to reform without questioning the social hierarchical order. So in the early days of we can say that 1928, a women's conference was established in Mumbai with Ramabai Ambedkar's wife and its president. About 500 women participated. Say that Satyagraha at Nasik 1930 was also for the right of the women for the entry in the Kalaram Mandir. That we can say the number swelled up to 3,000 women participating in the historic Mahar Satyagraha. So we can say that how empowered the women were in their thoughts. And we have to compete with those women, because like in those days there was not the proper situation for women, and still in spite of all these barriers or all these hurdles, these women were participating in all these social movement which were for the justice and for the right of the women. So he believed that the family planning measures for women should be taken. And so in 1942, while serving as a labor ministry of the Executive Council of Governor General, he introduced a maternity benefit bill. The bill aimed to provide maternity leave to women workers. In his journals, that is Mukh Nayak and Bahishkrit Bharat, he made sure that the issues related to women get an equal place in it. But how many of us do really know that it is because of the constitution drafted, or the drafting of the constitution, or the measures which is being emphasized there, the women after their delivery or get the maternity leave, and that too a salaried. Their income is not, or like their salary is not being deducted in those days, and they are getting the leave also. So this should be known. This should not be restricted to the women who are belonging to the downtrodden, or like who are belonging to the Dalit community. So Hindu Code Bill should be known to each and every person, or who each and every Indian citizen, because it is one of the most important initiatives made by Dr. Ambedkar to improve the miserable condition of Law Minister of Independent India on February, we can say 24th, 1949. He took an initiative and introduced the draft of the Hindu Code Bill in the Constituent Assembly. The bill aimed to release women from various social bondages created by Hindu social order. The proposed legislation seeks to provide women with the right to property and other legal rights which were prohibited by the Manu law. The bill aimed to put men and women in equal places in terms of legal status, or legal status that we can say. He argued that the ideals enriched or enshrined in the bill have their origins in the, what we can say, in the Indian Constitution, which promotes equality. The bill was first delayed by the parliamentarians and was later rejected, leading to the Ambedkar giving his resignation from the post of a law minister, as I have priorly mentioned in my talk. So he introduced 4 acts that were also incorporated in the Hindu Code Bill, because of the Hindu Code Bill only the women's liberation was possible. The acts improved the condition of women and strengthened their positions. Seeks to provide women with the right, and we all know that here this introduction to the Hindu Code Bill, the acts improve the conditions of women and strengthen their positions. The list of acts along with the important provisions for women which were stated in a Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So before going for the act, I would like to quote one example that gender equality can be seen everywhere, because it is a mindset, or it is a lifestyle. Gender equality is a lifestyle and you should adopt it, because as we know that there are lots of research which is being done over in our country and abroad also, which proves that women are outscored than men on almost every aspect. For example, I would like to tell you that women are after this I will quote one example and go towards the different sorts of articles which is being mentioned under the Hindu Marriage Act or Hindu Code Bill. So it is being outscored, women are outscored more than men, because in various aspects we can see that they are very much efficient in taking every sort of initiative, learning agility. Then they are having the various qualities of inspiring and motivation for others, develop others, then builds relationship with other persons in a very perfect manner, displays high integrity and honesty also in at workplace and wherever she is working or wherever she is doing the work, or what sort of work she is doing, communicates powerfully and proficiently, and collaboration and teamwork, champions change, and she can make the decisions in a perfect manner, or decision innovators, solve problems and analyzes issues, customs, customer and explain or external focuses, drives for the result and values diversity. She is also able to establish stretch goals, develop strategic perspective, technical or professional expertise, takes risk in every manner. So after so much or so many of qualities in her, she don't have to compete with the men. If she is going to raise, men are not going to be downtrodden, or like men are not going to be down, but like there should be an equal opportunity for everything. For that particular this thing, I would like to quote one example. Few years back, one advertise used to be one advertise was shown on the TV, that regarding that such kind of values should be inculcated. The quoting of this example is that such kind of value should be imbibed in the family itself. It is the high responsibility of the mother itself to imbibe such kind of values. So there is one child who is all the time coming from the school, crying at the home, and all the time complaining to his mother that the children's or the fellow beings are torturing me, and like they are all the time pulling my legs, and they are all the time teasing me, and daily he's coming to his home crying. So his mother always keeps on telling him that लड़के रोते नहीं, लड़के रोते नहीं, लड़के रोते नहीं. Daily is listening to this statement that लड़के रोते नहीं, लड़के रोते नहीं. So that kind of doesn't end a boy or same feelings a girl, a boy can have like a girl. But like the upbringing of that particular child was done in such a way that ladke rote nahi. So in this way, the boy raises and he grows into a youth, and he gets married to a woman. And as he was imbibed on his mind since his childhood that ladke rote nahi, ladke kuch bhi kar sakte hai, but ladke rote nahi hai. तो ये इस तरह का जो उसके ऊपर जो संस्कार किया गया था, उसके परिणाम इस तरह के हुए कि after some time he got married to a girl, and like he started torturing the same way, in the way the students or his fellow beings is to torture him. And his wife was tortured and harassed like anything, and she used to cry. And one day he slapped her, and she was crying, and again she was crying, and like she was being hurt, and she started herself with the tears. And so after that, Madhuri Dixit comes on the screen and gives the message that बचपन से ही अगर उसके माँ ने या तो हम ये लड़के को अगर पढ़ाया होता कि इंस्टेड ऑफ लड़के रोते नहीं, लड़के रुलाते नहीं है, अगर सिखाया गया होता, तो आज जिंदगी जीने का इसका तरीका कुछ अलग तरीके से होता. So that should be the values which should be imbibed in the family itself, or when we are having an upbringing of that child, the child should be upbringed in such a way that he should all the time respect the women. Not only अभी किस तरह से हम घर में भी बर्ताव करते हैं और किस तरह से women's को right देने के लिए हम सोचते हैं. Because we are being, another example I would like to quote before going for the various articles in this Hindu Code Bill, and which is really the liberation of the women. Through these articles we are having the liberation. So another example is that we are being given the right of what sort of dishes which we are supposed to cook at home, what sort of clothing and jewelry we have to purchase at home at the time of festivals. But we are not being given the right in the property. कितने महिलाओं को अभी आजकल थोड़ा सा इसमें एक एडवांस वर्जन हो गया है करके अभी देखेंगे हम, बैंक में सेम अकाउंट, शेयर में उनका हिस्सा रहता है, घर में उनका हिस्सा रहता है. बट लाइक कितने सारे वर्किंग वुमेन आज भी ऐसे हैं कि दो दे आर working women, their salary is being taken by their in-laws and their better halves, and like they are having no right to spend money on themselves without taking permission. ये बहुत सारे एडुकेटेड फैमिलीज में होता है, ये दिखता है. सो दैट इज बिंग राइट. कौन सी चीज का दिया जाता है कि जैसे घर में क्या खाना बनाओ, ज्वेलरी क्या चाहिए बच्चों को, त्योहार में क्या कपड़े चाहिए, इस चीज का राइट. बट जैसे घर के शेयर्स में हो, या तो शेयर्स, आजकल शेयर का बिजनेस सभी करते हैं, वो रहो, या तो सेविंग्स में रहो, या तो प्लॉटिंग में रहो, या तो जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि प्रॉपर्टी में रहो. तो इस तरह का उनको जब राइट पूछती है तो तब उनको दिया नहीं जाता. तो इस तरह के जो विमेन्स लिबरेशन, विमेन्स से रिलेटेड जो बुक्स है वो भी, दो यू ऑल आर द लॉ स्टूडेंट्स, बट लाइक यू शुड गो फॉर द रीडिंग ऑफ the second sex by Simone de Beauvoir. Then there are various books or various poetries which is being quoted by Amrita Pritam also regarding the life of the women. So before this, before going for the articles, I have quoted this example because we all being women, we should not only celebrate, our every day should be a celebration, or our every day should be a Women's Day, not in the form of getting the rights over the men. मेन के साथ कंपटीशन किसी भी तरह की करने नहीं है, बस अपने राइट के लिए अपने को जस्टिस मांगनी है. So which things were quoted in the Hindu Marriage Act 1955? I would like to state regarding this that Section 5 of the Act increases the legal age of marriage for girls to 18. Now it has been revised to 21. Section 17 of the Act provides provides punishment for bigamy. Provisions related to alimony and permanent maintenance have been provided in Section 25 of this Act. As you people belong to law, you are already knowing this, but this is for the awareness that because of which articles we have got the liberation, or women have the right, or women have the liberation. So Hindu Succession Act 1956 under Section 8 of the Act empowers the widow to adopt son or daughter. Section 14 ensures that the property of women will be her absolute property. Further, Section 15 of the Act makes sure that there would be a uniform succession to the property of a Hindu female who dies intestate. So the adoption of Maintenance and Maintenance Act 1956 under Section 8 of this Act, widows are empowered to adopt children. Earlier, under Hindu law, they were not entitled to do so. Before this act came into force, daughters could not be adopted. Section 9 of this act makes it compulsory that the wife shall be consulted while carrying on any adoption. So there is an equal right. There we can say that there is an gender equality. The Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956, Section 6A ensures that in case of custody, if the child has not completed the age of 5, then the custody lies with the mother. Under 6B, if the child has been born out of illegitimate relationship, then the first natural guardian would be mother and then father. The act also empowers the mother to change a guardian of a child who has been appointed by the father. So these are the various acts, or these are the various situations and various constitutional provisions which is being made. So Dr. Ambedkar worked as a chairman on the drafting committee and is regarded as the father of Indian Constitution, as we already all of them know. In many of his speeches in the Constituent Assembly, he debated for equal rights for women. His approach towards women's rights played a significant role in ensuring the women's rights find a special place in Indian Constitution. Some of the important constitutional provisions protecting women's rights are Article 14. This article ensures equality for all citizens, irrespective of gender, caste, creed, religion, and race. Article 15. This article prohibits discrimination on the grounds of religion, gender, caste, creed, and race. Article 16. This article says that there shall be an equality of the opportunity in public employment. We can't see nowadays that men are being paid in a way different manner. 2 lecturers are there, or 2 engineers are there, or like 2 doctors are there who are being placed in the services, and male doctor is being paid higher and female doctors are paid less. So this is only because of the constitutional provisions which are being made in the draft. So Article 23, this article prohibits human trafficking and bonded labor. These were some important provisions related to the women. Apart from them, many other articles protect the right of the women, and many of the things are there which should be mentioned in the favor of the women. That is Article number 39A and D, Article 42, Article 51AE, Article 24 3D 3, Article 24 3T 3, and Article 24 3T 4. Even in the 21st century, the issues of gender equality or inequality still finds its deep-rooted root in Indian society. Because we can give an example, like still we have to fight for going in the at the goddess, at the temples which are not mentioned or which are not being entitled for the entry of the women. So in 21st century or in the era of the globalization also, we have to give a tough fight. एंड आपने देखा होगा कि अभी तक विमेन को झगड़ा करना पड़ता है या तो उसके राइट के लिए कि मंदिर में एंट्री दो. एक कालाराम मंदिर का सत्याग्रह हुआ था, उसके बाद में स्टिल विमेन्स आर फाइटिंग फॉर दैट. इन ओल्डन डेज व्हाट यू कैन से दैट द टेम्पल्स व्हिच वर बिल्ट, दोज वर फार अवे फ्रॉम द what we can say from the place she is to reside. So it was the need for her in her period of her menstrual cycle to take rest and to protect her body organs, as it was the need of that particular phase of any girl or any woman in her life. So but they have taken it. उन्होंने उस जमाने में वहां तक कुछ भी जाने के लिए मंदिर तक सुविधा नहीं रहती थी, और वो जरूरत थी विमेन के ऑर्गन्स को आराम देने के लिए या तो उस दरमियान आराम मिलने के लिए. बट नाउअडेज एज वी सी दैट द व्हीकल्स वी कैन टेक till the doorstep of the temple. So there's no need that you have to follow all those menstrual cycle period. If you are carrying with the menstrual cycle, you don't have to go to the goddess or don't have to take her blessings. So ये सब चीजें जो है ना, ये इसमें बदलाव लाना, एक थॉट में बदलाव लाना बहुत जरूरी है. बिकॉज ये इंडियन सोसाइटी में इतना डीप रूटेड है कोई चीजें कि उसमें बदलाव लाने का कुछ तरीका दिख नहीं रहा और कुछ तरीका सोच भी नहीं रहे. जैसे मनु कहता है कि पशु, नारी और ढोल जो है ये ताड़न के अधिकारी है, मीन्स ये मारने के अधिकारी है, बस इनको कोई राइट बनता नहीं है. तो these things are being deeply rooted in Indian society, and because of that in 21st century also and in globalization also we can see the gender inequality, and we have to fight till the date. We have to fight for everything. आप ही देखो जैसे women's को कोई चीज की right दी जाती है, it is always on the condition for more critical, as in the it was same in the pre-independence era and the early parts of the post-independence also. So it was Dr. Ambedkar and some other handful of social reformers who came forward to lessen the plight of age-old sufferers, that is women. Interestingly, when the Hindu Code Bill was introduced by Dr. Ambedkar, numerous women opposed the bill. The efforts made by Ambedkar with regards of women equality haven't been much recognized, or if recognized, get faded because of the title he carries, that is Liberator of Uddharkarta of Dalits, or like Liberator of Dalits. So Dr. Ambedkar as savior for women's liberation, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is well known as the father of Indian Constitution, is a multifaceted personality exhibiting in himself an iron-willed political leader, a par excellence freedom fighter, ideological thinker, shrewd philosopher, a social reformer, a great editor, and so on. So that was a fought given by every fought tooth and nail for women's economic liberation and for securing women's social rights. There was also stress to need some other rights to safeguard the dignity and to respect the modesty of the women folk. So the all-round development of women was his topmost priority or agenda, and he left no stone unturned in achieving this goal. So women liberation was possible because of all these factors, and every women, in spite of caste, creed, gender, whatever it is, they should know all these factual things, that who is the liberator or women liberator. So societal positioning of women, irrespective of the ages, somehow women in our land were not given proper treatment. Her societal positioning was never at par with men. She was not given even the basic rights. They were, we can say, equated to animals and put to the lowest rung of humanity. Equality-based reconstruction of the Hindu society. The All India Dalit Mahila Conference was organized, as I have already mentioned, and 25,000 women attended this event, and where it was highly pleased with the awakening on activities of women. On 13th of August, Ambedkar wrote to one of his friends, his name was Meshram, about this. On 6th January 1945, the All India Untouchable Women Conference was held in Mumbai. Mr. Limaye, according to Limaye, it is mentioned or reference is given in his book. In this movement, his strategy was similar to Gandhian method, thought his disagreements on that aspect, but like we should also be able to know the various constants or various things which is being mentioned. So many of the things were emphasized on reconstructions of the Hindu society on the basis of equality, rather than the social reforms initiated by Brahma Samaj and Arya Samaj, because their attempts were limited only to the upper strata of the society. His in-depth study of Smritis and Shastras and his experience from the response of upper caste during his temple entry movement crystallized his conclusions on Hindu philosophy and society crusade against unjust societal, what we can say, various practices, crusade against unjust social practices, running newspapers, women's hostels, boarding schools, participating in satyagraha were some of the activities of women for acquiring the personality development to secure efficient administrative and leadership capacity as men have. So gaining inspiration and encouragement, many women wrote on the topics like planning, Buddhist philosophy, and such other topics. So women also wrote plays, autobiographies, and participated in satyagraha. Tulsabai Bansore started a newspaper titled Chokha Mera. This showed that how Ambedkar created a liberation atmosphere for or an awareness program for poor, illiterate women and inspired them to find against or to fight against the unjust or social practices like child marriages and Devdasi system. So, new Charter of Human Rights, as the we should also be know the inclusion of women rights in the political vocabulary and Constitution of India. So, therefore, considering women's equality both in formal and substantial senses, he included special provisions for women, while other general provisions are applicable to them as to men. As we already see, his key work in the preparation of Indian Constitution is really a great thing, which is supposed to be enlightened or which is supposed to be highlighted. So there are again few articles I would like to mention where it is being constitutional support. And in several articles it is mentioned. For example, Article 14, it is mentioned equal rights and opportunities in political, economic, and social spheres. And this is also, we can say, a path towards the equality, gender equality for women. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the ground of the sex. And Article 15.3 enables affirmative discrimination in favor of women. Article 39, equal means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. Article 42, just and human conditions of work and maternity relief. Article 46 explains about the state to promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of the people and to protect them from all the social beliefs or social bindings or injustice and all forms of exploitation. Article 47, the state to raise the level of nutrition and standards of living and its people and improvement of public health and so on. Article 51A, C, fundamental duties to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Article 243D, 3, 24.3T, 3 and 24.3R, 4 provides allocation of seats in the Panchayat Raj system. So, in spite of all this opposition to the bill and resignation of Dr. Ambedkar and what we can say, all these factors, the birth of second wave feminism took place. And with this note, I would explain about the birth of the second feminism, and I will end up or wind up with my speech. So, birth of second wave feminism took place, and one can find an adequate answer of this in Ambedkar's analysis of the Hindu social order and its philosophy that perpetuates inequality, slavery, and we can say poverty, ignorance also, and powerless for the oppressed classes, and also to the women, which has its impact in modern times also. However, the Hindu Code Bill helped the resurgence of feminist movement in India. And this feminist movement, as we see, the crusade of Ambedkar to emancipate women from injustice inspires the women leaders in parliament to keep the issues alive until its enactment. So this was the starting point for women to recognize their position and pursue rights movement by acquiring strength for second wave feminism started in the early 60s. And women are still fighting issues such as rape, dowry, death, communalism, fundamentalism, sexual harassment, violence, domestic and social poverty, and so on. We must concentrate on imparting social education, as we already know, before giving an concrete shape before giving an concrete shape to their political empowerment to the women. Without academic and social education, the political empowerment of women in certain parts of the country has proved futile. In Panchayat Raj, set up in UP, Bihar, and elsewhere in the country, the uneducated women are subjected to the exploitation at the hands of government machinery. It will not be prudent on our part to restore the rights of the women belonging to the affluent section of the society only. So we have to, therefore, our efforts should be directed towards all-round development of each and every section of Indian women by giving their due share. It is must to maintain and protect chastity, dignity, and modesty of women. It is the need of the hour right now to give due share to each and every section of the Indian women. I am assured, or I am very sure, that without removing social stigma, no progress or development could be achieved. So thank you so much for listening me, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present my views on women liberation and Hindu Code Bill, as we can say, as a whole. And if we start today all this development or setup of mindset change, then a sustainable tomorrow, definitely it is the responsibility of all our youth girls. So I wish all the youth girls to always strive for the gender equality and justice wherever you face injustice. and always give a tough fight. So thank you so much once again to all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present my views. And thank you so much to all the members who are present on this online platform and who are being listening me patiently. Seems to be through patiently for literally 1 hour it has seems to be. So thank you so much once again, and with this note I would like to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, actually there is one question from our student side. Can I ask, ma'am? Okay.
Yes,
Offences against the women are increasing with the time. So what should be done to decrease the ratio?
Offences against women are increasing. For that only I have quoted the example that it has to be offences where it takes place. So the mindset of the male or the mindset of the men has to be changed, and these kind of values, changing values, should be inculcated from the family itself. Unless and until it is I at the starting I told that it is a lifestyle. Change of thought is a lifestyle, and you have to adopt the lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request Ms. Isha Taneja to propose vote of thanks to our today's guest, chief guest and keynote speaker, Dr. Chetana Sonkamble, ma'am. Over to you, Isha.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your most valuable speech and for sparing time from your busy schedule to grace this occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely encourage us in all our future endeavors. You truly made this day enlightening for us. Your deep and intellectual way of imparting knowledge has added the glory to this event. And as you said, every day is a Women's Day. So it's so true. On behalf of our college and all the students, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Again, I will take opportunity to announce that we are having respected Dr. Archana Gadekar, Associate Professor in Law, the Maharaja, Sayajirao University, Baroda, as our guest speaker. Again, I request Ms. Isha Taneja to introduce our guest. Over to you, Isha.
Thank you so much, Nikisha. Now, it is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our guest speaker, a woman with a great vision and mission, an icon of hard work, respected Dr. Archana Gadekar, who has made a mark in the field of education by her sincerity, punctuality, devotion, and dedication to her duty. She is working as an associate professor in law at the Faculty of Law, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. She has done her master's in constitutional law from Rashtrasan to Proji Maharaj, Nagpur University, and doctoral degree from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. A person of such magnitude will truly inspire us. Her guidance and presence is a source of great motivation for all of us. In her career of 20 years, she has taught variety of courses like contract, human rights, legal language, air and space law, science and technology, comparative constitution, and constitutional law. Constitutional law, science and technology, gender studies, artificial intelligence, and law are her areas of special interest. Undoubtedly, she is a role model for her commitment and responsibility to achieve a greater heights. Ma'am is highly passionate about inspiring the students that could drive and influence hope among the learners, as she is a registered PhD guide, and her 4 students has been awarded PhD and 6 students are pursuing PhD under her guidance. She is an academic leader and is involved in course designing and policy making at the Faculty of Law. She is the chairperson of Board of Study in Law of the Faculty of Law, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. She is the former Senate member of the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. She is the member of Research Advisory Committee of different universities. She has published around 30 research articles and have presented papers at several national and international conferences. Recently, she has won Best Paper Award for one of her research papers. She has edited 2 books and contributed chapters in several books. She is an academician in the core. She believes in imparting legal education and adopts an era of pedagogical approaches to enable students to play multiple roles, such as policymakers, advisors, negotiator, arbitrator, and administrator. Ma'am, I request you to kindly enlighten us on this occasion. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Isha, for all those good and kind words. So I just respected Srimati Sudhatai Potdukhe ma'am, Professor Chetana Sonkamble ma'am, Professor Anjali Hastak ma'am, all the participants of this webinar, and dear students. A very warm good afternoon to all of you, and I wish you a very happy Women's Day. I just now saw in the chat where Benny sir is saying that every day is a Women's Day. So is it not gender inequality? I don't know whether, because I thought I read it is equality, but now he's saying, is it not inequality? So he wants to say maybe that inequality for men. Is it so? Because otherwise, everywhere across the globe, it is said that gender equality is an unfinished business of the 21st century. So I don't know. So maybe everyone will be sharing their views on this once you have put it over here. Now, at the outset, I'll express my gratitude for inviting me over here, giving me an opportunity to share my views on a very vibrant and a very debatable topic. And also, I like to share with everyone that this particular institution, that is SP College of Law, Shantaram Potdukhe College of Law, has a very special place in my life, I should say, because I owe a lot to this institution because it has played a very vital role and it has contributed a lot in the formative years of my academic career. So on this note, when I received a call from Hastak ma'am, and wherein she was asking me that whether you would be, whether I like to share my views on this. So I was more than happy to grab that opportunity. Although the topic which was given to me was something which was, I don't know whether I'll be able to do justice to it or not, but I'll try to see. That here what it is that here it is said that girls' age to marriage now to be raised or not. So like, let us see whether it should be raised or not. So if you, to begin with, what is the present age for marriage? So you know that currently the present age for marriage is for women or for girls, it is 18 years, and for boys, it is 21 years. Now this is something which is known to all of us. Then one question that may come to our mind is that these ages, that is for the boy, it is 21 years, for the girl, it is 18 years. So there is a difference. So the question that a young girl like Isha may think that why this difference? Because she, looking to her, I don't know, but I feel that she must be the millennium kid, or maybe the born somewhere around 2005, 6, somewhere around that. So like a girl of the 21st century, for her, these things might be very difficult to understand that why this like age, if a girl is getting married, if a boy is getting married at 21, why should the girl get married at 18? So this question might come to her mind. Another question which may also come is that why this different age? Either you keep 18 for both, you keep 21 for both, because at the end of the day, it is marriage. So why are you saying that one age for the women and another for the men? So as such, if you see that there is no reason why it is so, means it is like, you know, maybe like Dr. Chetana ma'am was saying that it is the mindset which is ingrained in us in the society. So that mindset which is ingrained in the society is that the stereotype which is fit in our mind. And that stereotype is that a woman, or rather a wife, should be younger than her husband. Therefore, When Sachin Tendulkar marries Anjali, who is older than her, then that becomes the news. Why? Because it is that she is marrying a woman who is older than his age. So the general stereotype thinking in the society is that whom should you marry, or rather what should be the age of the woman? The age of the woman should be less than that of the men. This is a general thinking. So it was here that the Law Commission of India said that we need to have an uniform age. Now, even the women activists, they believe that law is also perpetuating these kind of social stereotypes, and thereby it is prescribing different ages for the men and the women. Because at the end of the day, we know that law is the result of custom, and whatever is the custom that gradually gets codified in the form of law. So when you have that evolution of law, so there you see that this law is actually, like presently if you talk of our country, we can see that this is just perpetuating the stereotypes. But then what does the CEDAW has to say on this? CEDAW says that we should be abolishing all such kinds of things wherein we assume different physical or intellectual growth. So gradually what you can see from here is that there was that this is a stereotype, but then maybe we need to do something about it. And that was exactly when, because we were thinking long back in 2008, only the Law Commission of India said we should have uniform age. Then finally, in his speech on the Independence Day, the Honorable Prime Minister hinted at revising the legal age of marriage. And it was like, this newspaper report, it also becomes very interesting because if you see that it is around 143 countries which is having 18 years as the age, and around 20 countries which is having 21 years as age. Then, and there are also a few countries where there is no minimum age to marry. So now when the government was thinking that they should be revising the legal age of marriage for girls, finally, in the month of December, the union government, or rather the union cabinet, cleared the proposal to raise the age of women from 18 to 21. Now this was done, the age was revised. Now here again, like as I discussed with you over here, that these are like countries which are having different 18 or 21. So here also I came across one statistical data where it said that there are, say, like mostly the age, in some countries it is same, in some countries it is less for the girls and more for the boys. So now when we finally came to this conclusion, and when the cabinet finally cleared the proposal of raising the age for girls to marry, some questions that basically will come to a law student's mind is that all of a sudden, why did this happen? Was there a need for this to happen? And then if this happens, what are its consequences? And some people may also think that when we are raising the age from 18 to 21, is the state acting as a legal paternist? That is it a legal paternalism? That is, it is telling us to do what we should. So whether it should be telling us to do what we should. So these are a few questions which should definitely come to our mind. That is basically, see, whenever any change comes in our classrooms also, we always teach the students that whenever there is a change, first see that what was the need for the change. Was that change needed? And then if the change was needed, what would be the consequences of it? So if these are the things, so naturally the same things apply over here as well. that when this age was raised and the cabinet has finally cleared the proposal to raise the age of marriage from 18 years to 21 years for the women, these are the basic questions that will come to any person's mind. So let us see how did this happen. So it was that, this committee, all must have read in the newspapers, that this Jaya Jetli committee was set up, which had various members. And what was the task force? What was their thing? What was they to look into? So they were to look into the correlation. The correlation between what? Between the age of marriage with issues such as women's nutrition, then prevalence of anemia, then the infertility rate, or maybe the mortality rate, and the other social indices. So all to inquire into all this, this particular committee was set up. And this committee was, along with Jaya Jetli, there was another member on board that was the Niti Aayog member from health, that was Dr. V.K. Paul, and there were several other secretaries of several ministries. So what were they to do? So this committee, it was to look into the feasibility of increasing the age of marriage. Then, as I told you, that what are the consequences? So they also were to look into the implication on the women and child health. Then they were to see as well how to increase the access to education for women. So these all things were there, and also the committee was to recommend a timeline by which the government could roll out the implementation of the policy, as well as amendment that would need to be made in existing laws in order for this to happen. That is, that whichever laws are there now, naturally, if you are increasing the age of marriage for the woman, there are several other legislations wherein also the changes will have to be effected. So these all things, for all this, the committee was to look into. Now, after looking into all these things, what did this committee do? This committee finally recommended that the age of marriage be increased to 21 years. Now, when this was done, another question basically will come to our mind again is, on the basis of what? Why did you do this? You had to inquire into all this. You had to look into the health and the other issues, nutrition issues and all. So now you are finally recommending to increase the age. So what was the basis? So then what was your sample? How did you do this? So for all this, the basis, if you see, so it was that they said that the basis on which they came to this conclusion, this task force came to the conclusion, it was that the feedback which they received from young adults from around 16 universities, and also around 15 NGOs were involved in this from various parts of the country. So after all these debates, discussions, and the feedback which they received from especially the young people, it was finally that they recommended that the age be increased to 21 years. Further, they also recommended that an awareness campaign be undertaken on a massive scale on the increase in the age of marriage. Why? To encourage social acceptance of new legislation, which they have said would be far more effective than the coercive measures. So they were also presenting a plan how to implement it. If it is, this recommendation is accepted, then how should it go? So it was said that what you should do is you should also increase. Like if you're increasing, they recommended that it should be increased. And now after recommending that it should be increased, it is very important that whenever any social legislation needs to be effective, awareness about is to be created, generated. Otherwise, you'll not have an implementation of it. So if you are saying that the basis of our recommendation is the feedback which we have received from the people, from say the educated young women, young adults from going to the universities, and the people working with the NGOs. So now here, what they said was that here, if this, now see, anything has to be accepted by the social society as well, because law is an instrument of social transformation. But then this social transformation will take place when, if it is acting as it is an interventionist measure, then it becomes very difficult to implement it. But if it is something which the society wants, so if the society wants and then the change is brought in, so then that change becomes it becomes very easy to implement that change. So these were the basic recommendations. That first, they increased the age, and secondly, what they said was that an awareness to this effect should be brought. So now this Jaya Jetli committee, it recommended that this be done, and after it recommended, finally, now that was the recommendation, but then if it has to become a law, so now a bill has to be introduced. So a bill was brought in, an amendment was brought in. That amendment to the Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021 was introduced in the Lok Sabha. And now it has been sent to the Standing Committee. Now, what did they do? Here, they said that according to this bill, a child is defined as a male or a female who has not completed 21 years of age. So this was the amendment which was brought in. Now, when this amendment was finally brought in, now you can see that how has this happened. You saw that first there were, like earlier, there were recommendations, or rather there was like recommendations, the Law Commission and all, which were saying that we need to have an uniform age. Then finally, gradually the government started to think about it. Then they set up a committee. That committee gave its report, and then acting on that report, the Union Cabinet passed the proposal, and finally they introduced a bill of amending the Child Marriage Prohibition Act. And now it was here that it, I should say, sparked a debate in the country, and that was like the the famous to be not to be situation. That was that should it be raised or should it not be raised? It is presently, as we know, that it is 18 years, and then it was raised, that is the proposed raise is of 21 years. Now, whether this should be done or not, whether this is right or wrong. So these answers, they are at times subjective as well. Why do I say subjective as well? Because the conditions which are there, looking to the conditions, looking to the exposure, you may see that, and also maybe looking to the good fortune. That is, maybe that someone is very fortunate to be born in a very educated family, and where all that gender equality in reality exists in that family, and that woman is given the opportunity to study, to do anything of her choice. So thereby, if you ask someone this question, so that person may reply, what difference does it make? वैसे भी तो मैं कहा 18 में शादी करने वाली हूँ. I'll get married whenever I want to get married. So maybe a person like that may not actually see that there is anything wrong. She said, okay, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, 18 years or 21 years, it's like if you want to get admission to our law program. So it is like, I thought of drawing this given law course or a law program. So here also, when that is the thing, it is that at that minimum age, one can get married. But then what we will try to see is that really at that age, really do the people get married? What is the median age at which they get married? Because as I said, that if you are fortunate, you are being born in a family where everything is good, an affluent family, a rich, cultured family. So there they will say that educated family. So it is like even otherwise you're not going to get married at that age. So here now legally also you are not allowed to get married at that age. But then when you talk of marriage, that we have to remember that what is this marriage? Marriage, that is right to marry. So right to marry is our basic human right. It's a basic fundamental right. And also we are having the right to choose our partner. And therefore, we as students of law should remember that this is at the heart of the constitutional liberty of two adulting adults, consenting adults. So here, when this finally, when the government is now proposing and bringing a bill to increase this age, so maybe some argue, some think that is this legal paternalism? And thereby, what happens is we are divided into two groups. Some are in favor of this, some are against it. So let us see those people, because who are in favor, that we will see, because it is like even otherwise the bill has come. So first let us address the arguments of those who are against this particular race, that they are not so happy, not so content with, I should say they are a little bit discomforted with the idea of raising the age of marriage. So what are their arguments? Because as a student of law, we are always taught odi alterum partem, here the other side. So what is the other side of the argument? That what is the other side of the story? So what are their arguments which they say that no, why, if at all they are not in favor of it, so why are they not in favor of it? So what they feel is that all those who are advocating against the motion, that is, they are not so much in favor of raising the age, they say that what will happen is it will create the problem of enforceability. Problem of enforceability, you are raising this age. From 18, you are now putting to 21. Now, here what may happen is that the number of illegal marriages may then raise. This may happen. Secondly, they feel that there is no need to increase this age. Why there is no need to increase this age? Because they feel that with this also, with this 18 years also, we already see that there is an increase in the girls' education, employment opportunities, and that is very much there. This employment opportunities that rise is already there. So when that already it is there, then why do you want to increase it? And then third thing, as it is like this illegal marriages may be increased, that is their apprehension that this may happen. We don't know whether it will happen or not, but that the apprehension is there that it may happen. And also they feel that there will be more like the marginalized groups for them, where there are like several taboos are there. So there now this increase in the age from 18 to 21 will be even more problematic. So looking to all these things, they are not so much in favor of, and they do not so much support the idea of raising the age. Now, even otherwise, that they feel that if you look at the median age at first sexual intercourse is 19 years for women between 25 to 49, and that is also average age, median age of marriage. So roughly also when we had 18, so roughly also the studies are showing where the age is 19 years. And therefore they say that we do not need to actually increase the age. Then further, if you say that child marriages, because this basically is the amendment which has come in the Child Marriage Act, and now they are saying that it will be 21 years. So now here again it is said that what the reports are showing that there is actually like comparatively that number is coming falling down. So the incidence of marriage before the legal age of 18 is 27% among women aged 20 to 24 compared to 46% for women aged between 45 to 49. So now what you see is from 46 we have decline only. And also if you see that the mean age, either I said means earlier though I said it was 19 roughly, but also some of the studies they also show that the average age of first marriage for both rural and urban area, urban women has steadily been increasing, and the mean age for a bride was 22.3 in 2018 and compared to 18.3 in 2001. So now when all these things were already there with 18 as the age, so we could have very well gone with the way it is, was the people who are against the idea of raising the age. Now the people who are for this, who are supporting this idea, so what are they saying? They are saying that what will happen with this? With this, you will have gender neutrality. Now, gender neutrality, then secondly, there will be reduction in the risk of early pregnancy. Then this will also stop, prohibit the prevalence of child marriages, and also like has been recommended by the Law Commission and other agencies time and again. So there was even otherwise a need for an uniform age to marry. And therefore, this particular amendment is very much in conformity with the existing needs. And therefore, if you just have a look at the object of the amendment, I'll just take you through it. So what it is saying that to address the issues of women in holistic manner, as a measure for empowerment of women, gender equality, increasing the female labor force participation, make them self-reliant, and to enable them to make decisions themselves, the bill inter alia proposes to amend the child marriage, prohibition of child marriage. And then they say that it is to reinforce its application, overriding all other existing laws. Second, it's saying that gender equality, gender neutrality, so bring women at par with terms in marriageable age. Then also to prohibit child marriage where it is customary, and also make consequential amendments to other laws relating to marriage. And very importantly, this act will give 2 years' time from the day a bill receives assent from the President to provide sufficient opportunity to one and all in our collective efforts and inclusive growth to make effective other provisions immediately. So as you see that these all are seen as the advantages of the increase in the age, which you can see is progressive in nature because it is education of women, increasing women's participation in the workforce, then maternal nutrition and maternal mortality rate, then gender equality. So all these things are there. And you know, when you talk of education, one of the surveys in 1920 has said that the All India Survey of Higher Education said that it constitutes around 49% of the total enrollment across the country. Then another study which was conducted by the University of Cambridge, it concluded that higher mortality among young mothers was mitigated by the improvements in socio-economic standing such as wealth, access to antenatal care and education. So it's a win-win thing. We are just going to get all the good things when we are increasing the age of women for marriage. Now, these are, like I said, these are the two sides. Some people, they are against the idea. Some people are advocating the idea. In the meanwhile, one alternate argument also stands the ground, and that is that what is the entire objective? The entire objective is that we want a uniform age. So if uniform legal marriageable age is all that is desired, and if that is what is going to ensure gender parity, then as we have increased the age of women, another option is lower the age of marriage for men. So this way, the proponents of this alternate argument, they say that by this what will happen is that the state needlessly exercise control over individual autonomy. So the current disparity of this disparity they have tried to remove by bringing to 21. So now I have put before you both the things. That is the debate, entire debate which was there, that whether this age be raised to 18 or not. So when we are understanding this, the final takeaway of our today's discussion is, like, what I believe is that marriage is basically a socio-legal phenomenon. And there are several factors which are associated with it. And along with it, the basic right to marry. This is a basic human right. It's a fundamental right. Then if you look to the median age of marriage, it is 19 years. Now, what is the effect, if you see, of raising this age for marriage? We see it is progressive. But then you know that this is little with a pinch of salt. So, like, because we have discussed both the pros and the cons. So I leave it open for this house to take the final decision. Like, will the legislation, if passed, be effective? It will be time alone which will be telling us what will happen to it. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity and also hearing me patiently.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, there are some questions from our student side. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, ma'am, as we all very well aware that majority of our population live in rural areas. So, raising the age of marriage of these girls will affect their life too. So, can you please share how can these changes will be accepted by that people who are living in the rural areas?
Yeah, so for that, you know, that what the Sayajirao committee has recommended, so that needs to be done, that an awareness be created among the people, and the importance, they need to be sensitized as to how this is going to be for their benefit, how it is going to be for the betterment of the individuals only. That awareness needs to be created. Once that is done, we will have social acceptance of it.
Okay. Ma'am, there's another one question. Whether this legislation will lead to the increased sexual crimes against women as girls are getting puberty at very earlier age.
Which crimes against women, you said?
Ma'am, actually, there is one question. Whether this legislation will lead to increased sexual crimes against girls as women are getting puberty at very earlier age. Sexual crimes against women. Whether this legislation will lead to the increase in the sexual crimes against women.
See, whether this will happen or not, that is very difficult to say, because that is exactly means like, although the ones who are not very much in favor of the rise in the age or raising the age of marriage, they feel that the present position is fine. Because the arguments which they have made it clear that although like it is 18 years, it's not necessary that each and every girl gets married at 18. There are so many women around us who are actually, at least they complete their graduation and then they get married. So this is the present scenario. So they are the ones who are batting the fact that there is no need at all to increase this, because they say that even otherwise the studies are saying that it is 19 years, or somewhere you also see 22.3 as the median age. So if this is the scenario, so there is actually no need to go for legislation. So once the legislation comes, what all would be its ill effect, that we will have to see.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I request Ms. Isha Taneja to propose a vote of thanks for Dr. Archana Gadekar, ma'am. Over to you, Isha.
What an inspiring speech, ma'am. We all want to express our gratitude for giving us your precious time and gracing this occasion with your presence. You have set the high benchmark for ourselves, and never say die attitude will surely help us to excel in all our endeavor. Thank you so much, ma'am, for constantly motivating and inspiring us by the answers to the question which was always in our mind, and honoring us with your presence. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote by Amanda Gorman. Hear me as a woman, have me as your sister, on purple battlefield breaking day, so I might say our victory is just beginning. See me as a change, say I am the moment, the time, the year, and I am the era of the woman. Now, I request teacher of our college, Advocate Pallavi Kandikattivar, to propose vote of thanks for today's program. Over to you, Pallavi.
Thank you, Advocate Nikhil Patna. It is my I, Advocate Pallavi Kandikattivar, on behalf of Shantaram Potdukhe College of Law, Chandrapur, extend very hearty gratitude to all the dignitaries for gracing your presence and sharing your thoughts with us on today's occasion. A woman is the one who is wonderful, outstanding, marvelous, adorable, and nice to the situations she faces and comes out with flying colors. My heartfelt thanks to the president of today's program, respected Srimati Sudhatai Shantaramji Potdukhe, President Sarvodaya Shikshan Mandal, for blessing us with the presence on today's virtual program on Women's Day. My special thanks to our chief guest, respected Dr. Chetana Sonkamble, Dean Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, for accepting our invitation and for being here with us today. And my heartfelt gratitude to our invited speaker, respected Archana Gadekar, Associate Professor in Law, Faculty of Law, the Maharaja Sayajirao, University of Baroda. And special thanks to our beloved principal, respected Dr. Anjali Hastak, Principal, Shantaram College of Law, Chandrapur, former Dean Faculty of